Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars, the Black Series, the Clone Wars, Phase 2 Clone Trooper, and Battle Droid 2-Pack. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at this small packaging, and I have to go ahead and say that because of the size of this packaging, I did have to go ahead and pop the tape and look inside and make sure it was actually Black Series in the box and not a vintage style figure called the Black Series, because at one point the lines, the vintage style figures, they weren't yet called vintage, the vintage style figures were packaged exactly the same as the Black Series, just in smaller packaging, and they both lines, the 6-inch and 3 3/4 vintage style, what we think of vintage style now, line, were both marketed as the Black Series. So rest assured that is not the case for this. These are 6-inch figures in this box. Star Wars the Black Series on the front, Star Wars the Black Series, some artwork of Phase 2 Clone Trooper and a Battle Droid, and you can see the artwork from the front flap goes around to the sides that go on the inside, as well as the stripe. And then it's Star Wars, the Clone Wars in the stripe, Phase 2 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. 4-and-up Hasbro print on the bottom. Small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. Then on the back side, we've got Star Wars Black Series. Pretty much the upper portion is the same as the front side, right until right below the stripe, where it has a warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Attention, especially don't stick it in your French pie hole. Small fine, legalese, made in China print, Disney print, Hasbro print. And then on this side, you can see the back artwork goes around to the sides just like the front on the inside flap. So this is on the outside. And then again, there's lines, and that's on both sides. And then also on this side, we have includes 2 figures, 5 accessories, and then there it is again in some other languages. That, my friends, does it for this really small packaging. Let's take a look at the figures and their accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at the accessories. And first up, let's look at the Battle Droid's accessories. Here he comes with that standard Trade Federation Battle Droid rifle, blaster, whatever you want to call it, all molded in black plastic, it appears. Then we have what I like to call the Episode 2 antennas. They may have wore these in Episode 1, but I don't remember. And it looks like it's molded in this silvery kind of plastic. The tips are painted, not separate pieces. And then this piece is a separate piece and more than likely molded in this off-white kind of eggshell looking color. And there's the port and the shoulder piece that goes, does it go in the groove or it just sits on top? I don't remember, but there is that. And then of course here we have his full-on backpack antennas. I want to say it's probably the same antennas as the other. You can see it's got a little bit of paint scratch on it, possibly from the inside, because I still think this is molded in this color. And then nice molded details, and then 2 posts, and then this rectangular piece, and the shoulder pieces. And then here is a port right here where the gun stores, and we'll get to that in a bit. So there's his accessories. The clone's accessories, we'll go ahead and take a look at those. Here he comes with the smaller clone blaster, and I don't remember the model numbers and all that. I used to know all that stuff, but then I got old. So nice molded details, all molded in, looks to be black plastic. Same with this, only the plastic doesn't seem as black. Maybe a bit more brown. Not brown. A little more gray. Duh. And then it's got some little flecks of glitter in it, it looks like. But nice molded details nonetheless. His last accessory is his helmet. It's got a few nice paint apps on it. This gray around the back, this black stripe, this gray right here, the blue right here, the black for the T-visor, the black and silver for the nose bridge, and the silver and black for the comm leak areas. And nice molded detail. This is a very nice Clone Trooper mold. And in fact, this is the newer, I want to say this is the all newer one. And let's take a look at the battle droid first. And I'm not going to go into how he folds up and all that stuff. You guys probably already know that. And if you don't, there are some battle droid videos where I do cover that. I just, with two figures to cover, I don't want to cover all that. So, got some paint apps up here for the eyes. And I have to say, this one is a bit off. So there is that. The other one is very crisp, and that looks to be it for the paint details on this guy. And that's fine because, well, no, there's a little bit of silver right there. Because this guy, oh, a little bit of silver's right there too. This guy looks like he's fresh off the factory, out of the factory. No dings, dents, dirt, paint scraping. Nothing like that yet. No blaster marks. So that really, you know, does it for the decos. As far as the sculpt goes, you know, it's the same sculpt they've been using, and that's fine. It works okay. It looks really, really good, and it just doesn't always function very well. Number one, because, you know, this guy was a CGI. Lucas, I don't think, really cared how it translated into an action figure. I don't think that, well, at least I don't think that was foremost in his mind when he designed or had these designed or was, you know, given orders to design them back in 97, 98. And, but, you know, it's still a nice looking mold, even though if it doesn't, you know, it's missing some points of articulation, it still has a lot. And then here's the two posts or ports right here where the backpack or the antenna. Two for the backpack, one for just the antennas. Now let's take a look at his articulation real quick. Up here it's on a ball joint. He can look up that far. This piece is on a hinge, so it hinges like right out of the way. So, but that's as far as the head itself tilts up, and then it tilts down that far. There is also a hinge out here, and you can pull that up as well. It's mainly for use when you fold him up, but it is on a hinge there as well. So he does kind of have some chicken neck, and he's got some waggle as well. He can do the full exorcist here, and when you pull this up, he can do it there as well. At the shoulders, this is where we start coming into some range of motion issues. His arm only raises up that high. Maybe he doesn't really need to raise it up any higher than that, but, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. So, but it's not a ball joint, it's a ball with a hinge in it, and then it goes into the torso, and then this ring looks like a separate piece maybe. He can rotate that arm 360 degrees at the shoulder. There is a cut here way at the upper bicep for a 360 degree rotation. A single hinge at the elbow, but it doesn't swivel because the swivel is up here. and then it goes forward that far, backwards that far, so that's kind of neat. And then there's a cut here on the forearm, almost at the elbow, for 360 degrees of rotation, 360 degrees rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge. But you can rotate the hand, so you know, you might can do some other issues, especially, you know, you do it like this, and then that in and out hinge becomes an up and down hinge. Woo! How about that? Okay, here's where we hit another kind of range of motion issue, is right here at the torso. It's two separate pieces. It's kind of clipped in by these pieces. So he leans forward, back that far. And some of that is due to this piece of mold right here. And he leans forward that far. He does not have a 360 degree rotation, but he can twist a little bit left and right. And then he can rock a little bit, but not a lot. So that's disappointing. I would have liked to have got a little more twist in the battle droids. And then at the hips, you know, this inside piece of the leg or the hip, it does really hinder that. It is on ball joints there, so he can't really give you any of the splits. He can cross his legs, however, so there is that. He can kick way up. He can kick way back. Wow, why aren't these ballerina droids? But there's no cuts in the thigh. There's a single hinge at the knee, and it goes, you know, all the way basically back, and then forward it goes that far as well. No cuts in the shin, and then at the ankle tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and then it does have a forward facing pin for rocker. And as far as the accessories go, you pick the backpack or you pick the antennas. So that's how the antenna goes on there. It feels a little loose, but it stays in place just fine. I prefer the full-on backpack, and that's how that goes on there. And then for storage of the gun, you'll see there's a little post right here, and it fits right into that port on the backpack. So there's a look at the battle droid. Let's take a quick look at the clone. And, you know, really nice decos on the head. I guess they're using the inkjet on it now. Paint jet, inkjet, whatever. It's got a scar right here, just like all of these heads do. And then some paint on the forehead, like forehead lines, I guess. And then, you know, eyebrows, eyes. There may be a little bit of color to the mouth. It's hard to tell. But I really like this head sculpt. And then he's got a little bit of a paint app here. This is an overlay. And the elbow pads are separate pieces, but on this one they're glued into place. And the knee pads are separate pieces as well, and they are not glued into place. So there is that. Most of this guy molded in white with probably black paint. And there's, you know, little areas here and there you might find a little bit of slop on it. But overall, I think this figure looks pretty good. At least my copy. And as far as the neck articulation goes, he's got a ball at the bottom of the neck and then a dumbbell at the top. And as far as his articulation goes, he can chicken neck. He can look up that far. He can look down that far. He's got some waggle. He can do the full exorcist. Now here's where you can tell it's the newer clone or the newer clone mold, because the shoulder pad here goes up under the overlay for the armor, and the armor is an overlay. And he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees. And I do believe this is on a strap that runs down into the shoulder, and then it's pinned into place with the arm because it rotates with the arm. So there's 360 degrees rotation there. Cut at the upper bicep for another 360 degrees of rotation. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow. And wow, it feels tight. But I got it to swivel all the way around anyway. So 360 degrees of swivel there. At the elbow, you get that much bend. Slightly better than 90. It would probably get a little bit more if the strap wasn't in the way, but you know. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge, and then the other side is on an up and down hinge. So that's really good. Cut here where the upper and lower torso meet. Gives him all kinds of hula. He can lean left and right. He can lean back that far. He can lean forward that far. And 360 degrees of rotation there as well. At the hips, he can give you that much of the splits. He can kick forward about 90 degrees, it looks like. And back about a full step. At the upper thigh, where the leg goes into the armor there's, you know, it's where it's put together. So it's got some rotation there, but because of the height of the armor, it doesn't really want to go 360 degrees. You can force it to. I have in the past, but I don't recommend it. Single hinge and swivel at the knee. And you can see that separate piece there. And swivels around 360 degrees, and it gives you that much bend. Maybe a little bit more without that strap in the way, but, you know, it's there. And then nothing in the lower leg till you get to the ankle. And then ankle tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. As far as accessory storage goes, he wears his helmet, and you pick one of the guns and put it in his hand. And that, my friends, is a look at this figure. And we already had... He doesn't want to stand up. This one doesn't want to stand up now either, I bet. And stuff's falling off, of course. But anyway, my friends, there's a look at the figures and their accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review: comparisons. And here we have Star Wars The Black Series, Clone Wars, Battle Droid, and Phase 2 Clone Trooper 2-pack with a Star Wars The Black Series Gaming Greats Republic Commando Battle Droid, Star Wars The Black Series Gaming Greats Jedi Survivor Battle Droid, and the 187th Legion Clone Trooper from the 187th Legion Clone Trooper and Mace Windu 2-pack. For our final set of comparisons, here we have Star Wars The Black Series Battle Droid and Phase 2 Clone Trooper 2-pack, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, from Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the shared exclusive, at least I think it's a shared exclusive, between Hasbro Pulse and Shop Disney, or Disney Shop, or whatever they're calling it now, because they did change the name of it. But Star Wars The Black Series Troop Builder pack of the Battle Droid and Phase 2 Clone Trooper. I don't know why I got Phase 3. Thinking episode 3 maybe. So let's talk about these two figures. The Battle Droid, of course, has all the disadvantages of previous releases of it, and most of those don't have to do really with the mold, but rather with range of motion. Like the upper part of the figure, as far as range of motion and stuff goes, is fantastic, and it's really kind of lacking a bit below the waist. And I guess it's a good thing I'm talking about a robot rather than a person when I say that. But the range of motion in the hips is just not great. The fact that it folds up, I think is a good addition to it. I really like that it has that feature. I know I didn't show it in this review, but this review's probably going to be long anyway, so I decided to leave that part out. But if you would like to see it, I do have 2 other Battle Droid videos where I do go into detail with the folding of the figure. As far as the Phase 2 clone goes, I think it's really, really great. I love the updated shoulder pads that go up under what is now an overlay for the upper torso armor. And the fact that they're pinned in with a strap and the arm pins through it and rotate around with the arm rather than getting hung up and caught up and bent up and all that. Now, you know, if you leave him in certain poses too long, it's going to mess stuff up. So, you know, you really don't want to leave those arms in poses that bend that shoulder armor up. And as far as the helmet goes, the helmet looks really good, but the real star of this pack is when you remove the helmet and you look at the clone face. I think it's darn near perfect. The likeness is really good. The deco on it is really good. I just wish they'd kind of change the deco up a bit, like move some scar around, move that scar around, or you know, whatever, or make some without the scar. And, you know, with each release that they do, you know, change the deco on that face up a little bit just to give them a little bit of variation. Even, of course, you know, they're all clones. But for the most part, I think this is a really good pack. I wasn't intending to pick it up originally, and I just felt like I didn't need the plain clone trooper. Now I did want the battle droid in the more episode 1 colors and without the battle damage and stuff. That's I like that. And now if they do this again, but they do it with the episode 2 battle droids and maybe, I don't know, maybe a Phase 1 clone, or maybe a 2-pack of battle droids from Attack of the Clones. That would be good too, I think. But, you know, overall, I don't have many complaints about this. Now, I was worried when I first got the package for this and was looking at it. I was like, oh my god, I accidentally ordered a 3 3/4 by mistake. But no, it was not 3 3/4, just in the smallest possible packaging that they could put it in. And, you know, that's okay too. But I would have liked to see a little bit more of a reduced cost with the less packaging. But again, overall, I think this is a good set. And if you're a customizer or an army builder, then by all means, this is more than likely you probably already have this set and aren't watching this review. But, you know, if not, and you were interested in just seeing what they look like and how they function, then, you know, I think this is a pickup, especially if you're a customizer and you want to build out an army of battle droids and Phase 2 clone troopers, and you like to paint them up and stuff like that. Or if you're just an army builder and you're just trying to build out your ranks, you know, this is a pickup for you. Now, if you could care less about either one of these or both of them or, you know, whatever, then, you know, it's probably not for you. Or if you already have an army of Phase 2 clones and battle droids, it's not for you. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel reviewing. If you're interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.